All right, it's time for another Pro Point breakdown. Let's watch this point in its entirety first, and then we'll talk about some of the things to notice.
Point.
Let's begin by IDing our players. Returning serve here, we've got J.W. Johnson alongside his partner, Dekel Barr. And on the far side of the court, we've got the brother duo, Ben Johns on the right side of your screen. And in the orange, we've got Colin Johns. Okay, so first thing to notice here, and I always try to point this out, something all players can do right away to be a better player. Look how far Johnson is standing behind the baseline. He will have more time to react to the serve, and he's back here not because he knows it's going to be deep, but if he has more time to react, he can set up better. Notice how he moves through the return of serve, so he's already going forward by the time he hits it. This makes it easier for him to get up to the non-volley line, so he, alongside Barr, can put maximum pressure on Johns as he's hitting that backhand drop. Now, there's always a question we have to ask when a decent drop is hit is, do we let that ball bounce or do we take it out of the air? Interesting here, Johnson lets that ball bounce. And look, it's landing past the non-volley line, maybe on the line, but I think it's past the non-volley line, but he's still choosing to let it bounce. Interesting. We're seeing players doing this more and more. It's a way to take speed off the ball and make it a little easier to hit the kind of shot they want. Speaking of the kind of shot he wants, look at the top spin here on this forehand dink. Gets that ball up and over the net, drops down low towards Ben Johns' backhand. And Ben does what Ben does. He just plays this nice, calm backhand drop of his own. Once again, Johnson using top spin. So is Barr. So again, this is a major difference we see in the pro game right now. Speaking of differences, let's talk about how technique is changing. This is something we've been seeing a lot lately from J.W. Johnson, but other players as well. Hitting this ball more behind them, sort of putting their hand and wrist in this different position that we sometimes call a hinge. It's a way to maintain your position at the court. I don't know. I'm still ambivalent about that. We'll talk about it later maybe. Thinking about decision-making, players at the net, good players at least, hit a lot of cross courts. That is because they have a lower net to hit over, a longer distance to work with. You'll see Johnson goes down the line here, and that allows Colin Johns to take this ball out of the air as a volley. Now, he's trying to just dink it back. That ball's got a lot of residual speed from it, and he has a bit too much speed on it. So when he plays that cross court, Barr, who is very tall, thinks, hey, this is maybe an attackable ball. I can speed this up. And when you speed things up, it's a good idea to go down the line. They've got less time because they have less distance for that ball to travel. But Ben Johns is so, I could watch this all day long, this little exchange here. Ben was sitting on that forehand, anticipating it. And look, he catches this ball pretty far out front. That's a sign that he expected this ball to come. And then he's able to counterattack. Now, I love talking about the follow-through and what it does and doesn't do. So look at Barr here. He's catching this ball out front, and look how much follow-through he has. He's accelerating right through there. But yet the ball goes slow and low cross court. And that's because the follow-through does not affect the speed of the ball. It happens after contact. So it doesn't matter how big your follow-through is, the ball, it's not going to change. So anyway, back to the point here. Look at the speed up from Johnson. Pure wrist here. This guy stands very upright, speeds things up just with his hand and wrist. Colin Johns is sitting on it as well, though catches it a bit late. And then look at this shot from down low on one knee. Weird grip, sort of an inverted forehand kind of thing. Colin plays that ball back and keeps it kind of low. And this is where the point sort of breaks down. And Johns, they get lucky here. That ball is practically, it's behind Colin. Ben's still hitting it. They're just trying to survive. And Ben's lucky enough to get this ball to go off the top of the net. Here, Johnson can't do much with it. Again, though, he stands so upright that I think when those balls come low, it's going to be tough for him to dig them out. Anyway, Johns, they can't believe that they managed to win that point. See a little bit of a smirk there. Meanwhile, Barr and Johnson grinding so hard out there, had so many chances and then lose it like that. That is a tough pill to swallow, but we've all been there, right? You know what that's like. Anyway, these are four great players. Let's watch this point one more time in its entirety. I love watching Pro Pickleball, and the game is just getting better and faster. I love seeing this sort of movement from slow, and all of a sudden things get sped up and go fast, and the guys are so good at expecting what's going to come next, at seeing it, at resetting when necessary. And then, of course, there's no accounting for luck right at the end. Look at that shot by Colin. Great stuff.
Point.